Harvey Milk, arguably the best known as the first openly gay politician in the state of California, civil rights hero. But prior to that, he spent nearly 4 years in the Navy Reserve. He enlisted in 1951. That was during the Korean War. Milk was deemed, quote, outstanding, very good officer material by his superiors. A year later, in 1952, he's made a Navy Reserve officer. During the war, Milk saw action, spending 2 years as an operations officer on rescue submarines. He was a diver. But in 1954, Milk was outed as gay. When questioned by Navy officials, he admitted that he engaged in, quote, homosexual activities while enlisted and was presented with two options: resign with an other than honorable discharge, foregoing his military benefits that he had earned, or be court-martialed. Milk chose to resign. He spent the following decade working various jobs in New York City before he became a demonstrator against the Vietnam War. In the early 1970s, Milk moved to San Francisco. He became involved in local politics. He was elected to the City Board of Supervisors in 1977 before his tragic assassination by a fellow Board of Supervisors member the following year. In 2012, the San Francisco Board of Supervisors wrote to the Navy asking they name a ship in honor of Harvey Milk, and 4 years later, the Navy agreed to make it happen. In 2021, a U.S. Navy fleet oiler was named after Milk in a tribute to his honorable service and his status as an LGBTQ icon.
The Secretary of the Navy needed to be here today, not just to amend the wrongs of the past, but to give inspiration to all our LGBTQ community leaders who serve in the Navy in uniform today and in the civilian workforce as well, too, and to tell them that we're committed to them in the future.
Our new Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, is now going in a different direction. This week, at the start of Pride Month, he took the very rare step, this doesn't happen hardly ever I've covered, of ordering the Navy to rename the U.S. naval ship Harvey Milk, quote, to align with President Donald Trump and the Secretary of Defense's objectives to reestablish the warrior culture. John Lovett is former speechwriter for President Barack Obama, now the host of the Love It or Leave It podcast and co-host of Pod Save America, and he joins me now. John, I got to say, at some level, this is a kind of form of performative trolling by the Secretary of Defense, but I'm genuinely outraged by it. I think it's profoundly messed up.
Yeah, well, here's the good news. You can remove Harvey Milk's name from that vessel, but that ship will still be bow to stern filled with seamen.
Thank you. Thank you for that line, John.
You're welcome. To make a serious point about it, remember when we talked about the renaming of military facilities and bases that were named after Confederates, and why naming our institutions after people that rebelled against this country and were traitors to it might be a problem? That was a kind of cancel culture. That was wrong. That was erasing our history. But now you want to remove, by the way, not just Harvey Milk's name. There's also they're also considering removing Medgar Evers' name, Harriet Tubman's name, both people who served in the military. Harriet Tubman, a spy and a scout during the Civil War. Medgar Evers served in the Army during World War II. It's, they love cancel culture. They're huge fans of cancel culture. They just want to cancel the people they don't like.
Yeah, I thought that thing, too, about the warrior culture was such a reveal about how they conceive of it. Milk they have ordered. These are the other ones reporting indicates per CBS that they're considering. I mean, Harriet Tubman, it's say whatever you want about Harriet Tubman. She was a warrior. I mean, as much as of a warrior as just about any human in American history was Harriet Tubman. It's such a tell about what they mean by that word that they're so obsessed with using as their kind of rhetorical cover.
Yeah, I mean, we'd all the Combahee River Raid. Just to name one moment in American history, just an awe-inspiring act of bravery, running a military operation. Of course, we should have ships named after Harriet Tubman. Of course, Harriet Tubman should be on our money. That is heroism. But of course, this is in some sense not a big deal, right? The names on the side of a ship are not a big deal. But when someone is honored and they are gay or they're black or they're Hispanic, they comb through the record. They start to suspect that maybe something else is afoot. Maybe they really didn't deserve it. But that's also, by the way, what they do. If a plane crashes, their first thought is, oh, I wonder if a black person was at the radar, right? I wonder if a woman was at the controls, because then it's DEI, right? Then it's not the best person. And so it is this assumption that if someone is honored, it doesn't look exactly like what they expect from a 1950s movie, it's suspect. It's worth questioning.
You are about to do an event that caught my eye because I think it's really important to sort of raise awareness for one of the individuals who has been consigned to, indefinite detention in a foreign gulag, Andre Romero. He is one of the folks in that CCOT facility in El Salvador. He himself is Venezuelan. He's an out gay man who worked as a hairdresser, makeup artist, I believe, in Venezuela. Tell me a little bit about this event, because we've got some news today about a judge ruling about cases like Andre's.
Yes, so we are doing a fundraiser for Andre. It is the Bulwark, which is former Republicans from the right and crooked coming together from the left to raise a bunch of money at a pretty big gay pride show. It's a serious cause, but it's going to be a fun show because we can't just move on from this. He's still down there. Right? The media moves on. The story moves on to the next horror, the next outrage, a boat renaming a military parade. Meanwhile, this is a person who has been disappeared by the U.S. government to a foreign hellhole. Kristi Noem is asked just to provide proof of life to his mother. As a mother, won't do it. It is despicable. It's monstrous. And we have to do everything we can to keep the focus on this. It is great that there was a ruling today that their rights were violated, Andre's and everyone else who was disappeared without so much as a hearing. But we can't. The second we just move on is the second this becomes something that we accept. So we're doing this event. We'll be at outside the Supreme Court at 5 o'clock in D.C. On Friday. The live show and fundraiser will be at the Lincoln Center at Lincoln Theater at 8 p.m. on Friday night. It's World Pride. And by the way, you want to talk about warriors. Do you understand how much stamina it takes these gay guys to get through 48 hours of World Pride?
Shed a tear for our strongest warriors. I should say that Judge Boasberg decision today, that's a federal district judge basically starting to certify a class saying that Andre Romero, along with 200 plus other individuals, had their habeas rights violated. The government has to give them an opportunity for redress. But to your point, Kilmar Gallego Garcia, who's sort of in a different category because the government made a mistake, but Andre Romero and so many others are still down there without redress as of now. I'm glad that you guys are keeping a spotlight on this. John Levitt, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.